If you're anything like the old me, you're probably stuck in that exhausting loop of wanting to be better but constantly burning out. I used to buy every self-help book, download every productivity app, and set ambitious study schedules that lasted exactly 3 days. I felt like I was running on a treadmill sweating buckets but getting nowhere. I blamed myself. I thought I was lazy. I thought I just wasn't smart enough. But later, after I buried myself in psychology, cognitive science, and behavioral research, I discovered a painful truth. Our suffering usually isn't because we aren't trying hard enough, it's because we are fighting against human nature. We force our brains to focus when they crave novelty. We rely on willpower when we should be relying on systems. We try to cram knowledge in like stuffing a suitcase, instead of growing it like a garden. So, I stopped trying to be a success story and started being an observer. I watched my own emotions. I studied how the top 1% of students actually operated, and I realized there is a hidden curriculum that no one teaches in school. Today, I want to share what I found. Not mighty sail fluff, but the actual scientific mechanics of how to learn anything without burning out. Let's look at this together, shall we? 1. The trap, the illusion of competence. Stop studying seriously, right now. Most people's study methods waste 80% of their time, like filling a bucket with holes. No matter how hard you pour, the water leaks out. Rereading textbooks or highlighting notes triggers what psychologists call the illusion of competence. Your brain confuses recognition with understanding. You know the plot, but you can to direct the film. Familiarity is to mastery. To fix this, swap passive learning for active learning, starting with the testing effect. Your brain is a muscle, watching others lift weights, one to make you stronger. You have to do the work. That means closing the book and using active recall to force your brain to retrieve information. The struggle feels uncomfortable, but it's how your brain builds long-term connections. A great tool here is the Feynman TED. Explain a concept simply, as if teaching a 5-year-old. Stumbling over jargon or gaps means you don't truly understand it yet. Then there's the forgetting curve. Discovered by Hermann Ebbinghaus, we forget 50% of what we learn within an hour. Fight this with spaced repetition instead of cramming for 5 hours in one day. Study for 30 minutes, review 2 days later, and test yourself again 4 days after that. This tells your brain the information is worth keeping. Finally, forget relying on motivation, it's unreliable. Use the 2-minute rule to beat procrastinate. Tell yourself you'll study just 2 minutes. Avoid burnout with the Pomodoro textine, 25 minutes of deep focus, followed by a 5-minute break. This aligns with your brain. Natural energy cycles. Top students aren't test smarter, they use better strategies. Ditch rereading and highlighting. Start testing yourself and plug the leaks in your learning to master what matters. 2. The trap, the illusion of competence. Stop forcing information into your brain. It doesn't. 2. We've all stared at a textbook at 3 a.m., highlighting every sentence until the page glows neon yellow. You feel productive, but by exam time, most of that info is gone. This is due to the forgetting curve. Your brain deletes non-essential information to save energy. Western students often fight this with cramming a futile effort, like filling a bathtub with the drain open. Yet students in Japan and China top global math and science rankings. They aren't superhuman. They just study in sync with how the brain works. The first key shift is moving from passive input, rematting notes, watching videos, to active output, leveraging the testing effect. Think of memory as a muscle. Watching others lift weights won't make you stronger. You have to do the work yourself. Japanese students use a samurai approach, closing the book and struggling to write down what they remember on a blank sheet. That frustration is your brain's cue that the information matters. That's where learning happens. Next, swap the binge study, dumping water method for the slow, steady gardening approach. Spaced repetition, review material at set intervals, 1 day, 3 days, a week later, to move knowledge from short-term to long-term memory. This aligns with the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen and Jinko, Noda theory, which says working memory has limits. Breaking study into tiny daily chunks, like the Kumon method, builds a solid foundation without burnout. Finally, rethink memorization. Western education prioritizes understanding first, but memorizing core facts creates automaticity. Freeing brain power for deeper comprehension later. Pair this with a focus ritual. Japan did memory over time. Just sitting at that desk switches their brain to focus mode. Skip the all-nighters and highlighting. Start testing yourself, space out your sessions, and stick to small daily habits. You don't need a better brain, just a better method. 3. The ritual secrets from the East, the hidden curriculum of top students. Two students can attend the same classes, listen to the same teacher, and study the same number of hours, yet one burns out and fails, while the other aces it effortlessly. We often chalk this up to IQ or talent, but it's a lie. The difference lies in a centuries refined, hidden curriculum of study habits from Japan and China, backed by modern psychology. First, start with purpose, not just a timer. Most students just open a book and hit start. But top Japanese students upgrade the Pomodoro technique with a pre-session ritual, closing their eyes to set a hyper-specific focus statement. This is eppretation intention. It primes your brain as a reticular activating system to filter distractions and lock onto the goal, turning study time into a clear mission. Next, ditch reading for dual setas, a trick Chinese students use to memorize thousands of complex characters. Instead of just staring at notes, pair verbal information with vivid visuals or stories, like drawing a cell as a bustling factory. This creates two brain pathways for retrieving information later, making memory far more sticky. They take it further with the 5 times rule, rewriting one concept 5 different ways: definition, diagram, metaphor, kid-friendly explanation, etc. This leverages the protege effect. Expecting to teach others deepens understanding far more than cramming for a test, weaving knowledge tightly into your brain. Then adopt the Zen empty cup mindset. Ego-driven students study to prove they're smart, which fuels anxiety. Top learners approach studies with humility, admitting what they don't know. This lowers the barrier to tackling hard tasks. They also use associative learning, linking subjects, like physics and math, instead of treating them as separate islands, building a connected web of knowledge. Finally, optimize your environment with context-dependent memory. Elite Chinese boarding schools enforce silent night study routines, and you can replicate this by creating a dedicated sacred space, a clean desk, consistent setup, no distractions where you only study. Over time, just sitting at that desk triggers your brain to switch into deep work mode automatically. You don't need a higher IQ, you need a ritual. Visualize your goals, teach concepts to an imaginary audience, leave your ego behind, and work with your brain's natural architecture. Stop working harder, start working smarter. 4. How to achieve high scores in all exams. The academic comeback is not magic, it's engineering. We all know that one seemingly hopeless student like Eric, the class clown who ignored homework and tuned out during lessons. Everyone wrote him off, but after a holiday break, he returned to ace every exam, outscoring straight A's peers and leaving everyone stunned. He had to become a genius overnight. He just realized the standard study methods are fundamentally broken. Eric used 4 science-backed psychological strategies to hack his way to the top. First, he dumped the illusion of competence, ditching reading and highlighting for the testing effect. He de-read a concept once, closed the book, and forced his brain to retrieve the information from scratch. The struggle felt painful, but it's what experts call desirable difficult. Just like lifting weights, tears muscles to make them stronger. The effort of recalling memories strengthens neural pathways. Eric was, to just studying, he was engaging in mental combat. Next, he swapped blocked study sessions for interleaving, mixing 30-minute chunks of biology, algebra, and history. It seemed chaotic, but it forced his brain to stay alert, constantly figuring out which problem, solving tools to use. Unlike blocked study, which lets the brain go on autopilot, interleaving builds flexible, pressure-resistant knowledge. Then Eric beat Hermann Ebbinghaus's Forgetting Curve, the brain's tendency to delete unused information, with spaced repetition. Instead of cramming, he reviewed material on a strict schedule. 1 day, 3 days, and a week after first learning it, recalling information right as it was about to fade, sent a biological signal to his brain that the content was vital, turning short-term memories into long-term knowledge through synaptic consolidation. Finally, he used the protege effect. He'd stand in his room and explain complex ideas in simple, childlike language, as if teaching a 5-year-old. Just as physicist Richard Feynman noted, if you can't explain something simply, you don't truly understand it. Stripping away jargon let Eric spot and fill his knowledge gaps fast. So, Next time you feel like you're not smart enough, remember, Eric, intelligence isn't fixed. It's a method. Ditch passive reading for active retrieval, mix up your subjects, space out your practice, and teach what you learn. Your academic comeback is within reach. Acing exams and mastering learning isn't about natural smarts or endless grinding. It's about working with your brain. Ditch passive habits like highlighting and cramming. Embrace active recall, interleaving, spaced repetition, and teaching what you learn, paired with intentional focus and daily consistency. Eric's comeback wasn't magic. It was a smart method. Stop studying harder, start studying smarter. Your success starts now.